Welcome back to the Wrestling Rewind with your host Max.
Vitamin J.
And here we are to discuss the first ever WCW Sold Out pay-per-view. This
It's
took
NWO
Oh,
Souled
you're
Out, by
right.
the way.
This is NWO Sold Out.
And the reason why the NWO has their own pay-per-view, in case anyone forgot, is because they won War Games. And this was one of the conditions that the NWO stipulated. If they won War Games, they wanted their own show.
Yes, we will see if it was worth the time. It is coming from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The attendance for tonight's pay-per-view is 5,120 people, which even for this time is a pretty low number for a pay-per-view
It looked like
crowd.
a small building.
Yes, it did. But we opened the show with a long shot that was in black and white of the NWO arriving to the arena. They were riding on garbage trucks, semis. This took a while too to see them
It took a
come to
while,
the
yeah.
arena. But eventually we get an actual intro style video for this pay-per-view. I actually thought the video was decent and they should have just opened with that. But I will say the set for this pay-per-view is very unique looking, and they were trying to do a couple of new things here. Some of them will work, but unfortunately most would not. And our commentary team is Bischoff and Ted DiBiase. But we go to our first match, and it is Chris Jericho versus Masahiro Chono. They do have motorcycles throughout the arena, and they show us two, air quotes, babes on motorcycles. We will also have the great opportunity to see the Miss NWO contest tonight. We'll see if they deliver there, but we'll go into the match here. But no surprise, the referee for this match is Nick Patrick.
He refs all the matches.
Yep, NWO Sold Out. He's the NWO referee. But during this match, we see Sister Sherry and the Harlem Heat sitting in the crowd. We also see the Faces of Fear, the Nasty Boys, the Four Horsemen. So it appears that they are here to crash the NWO's party. We'll see if they get
And
involved.
one thing that happens during the matches that kind of gets annoying is the NWO voice guy. He'll like do quips all throughout the matches and stuff. It gets really annoying.
Yes, that is one of the things they do try out here, is just to have the overhead speaker guy repeatedly say random things throughout the match. I don't mind it when it's during the NWO's entrance, but this is too much. And it'd be something stupid like who'd be calling like this guy loser, something stupid.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be stuff like that. I don't know. It gets old.
One thing we get there in this match is we get a USA chant,
Yeah,
and
neither person's American.
yeah, that makes no sense.
I don't think the fans knew that Jericho was Canadian.
Yeah. So while this is an NWO show, it does appear that the fans aren't going to be just rooting exclusively for NWO guys tonight. So it does seem like Jericho is the favorite here. Jericho hits a German suplex for a 2.5 count. It looks like Nick Patrick was a little slow on that. Bishop, though, says the count looks fast to him. Who can you trust? Chono goes to the top rope, and Jericho looks like he was supposed to reverse the move, but it ends up with Chono just jumping on Jericho, and it looked terrible.
Yeah, it was quite the botch.
Miscommunication there. Later, Chono gets a table and he sets it up on the outside, and he tries to suplex Jericho onto it, but Jericho reverses it into a suplex of his own. He sends Chono into the ring, and then Jericho hits a top rope missile drop kick for a 2.5 count. Jericho almost wins the match after hitting the lion salt. Jericho then goes to the top rope, but Chono meets him up there and he shoves Jericho off the top turnbuckle, and Jericho goes crashing through the table on the outside. Chono brings Jericho back into the ring and hits the Mafia kick for the win in 11 minutes and 8 seconds. Again, this continues the trend of me not being very impressed with Masahiro Chono. This was one of his better matches, but it still wasn't great. But overall, I give the match 2 stars.
I also gave it 2 stars.
But after this match, Bischoff shows off some of the entrance to this Miss NWO beauty pageant. As the crowd chants boring, it absolutely is boring. But we will be doing this throughout the whole show, so buckle up. They ask some of the women some stupid questions, and the women come up with equally stupid answers. This is a complete waste of time, and if we're being real, most of these women are not good looking, so I don't get the point of this.
No.
And because I thought the NWO was supposed to be all about hot chicks.
I know. It's like, why would they have like not conventionally attractive women, and like it makes you look like losers? I don't know.
And you'll see this throughout the night. They're going to ask these women questions, and you could tell they did not prepare these women whatsoever, because their answers are not prepared. It's a disaster. Buckle up. These segments are not getting better. But our second match tonight is Hugh Morris with Jimmy Hart versus Big Bubba in a Mexican death match. Even though neither man here is Mexican.
It was supposed to be Conan down. He had travel issues, and he worked a show in Mexico. Apparently, had some issues getting back.
Well, thank you for the explanation. Bischoff tells us on commentary that he forgot to give the tracks to the production team for the WCW wrestlers' music, so no music for the good guys tonight. But Bischoff also has a message for Macho Man, and he tells Macho Man that he's not being blackballed, and the reason is because the WCW and the NWO both don't need his services, and he tells Macho Man to find another line of work. So it looks like Macho Man has to find another way to get back into the wrestling business. But for this match, Bubba low blows Morris twice and brings out some handcuffs, and he puts one end of the handcuffs on the ropes, and he tries to handcuff Morris to the other end, but Morris sends Bubba out of the ring, and Jimmy Hart gets some shots in on Big Bubba as well, kicking him in the midsection. Later, Bubba grabs a chain from his jacket and he nails Morris with it, and then he proceeds to whip him. Morris is able to get his hand on the chain, and he hits Bubba with it. And then he hits No Laughing Matter, but does not go for the pin because in a Mexican death match, we had to go to a 10 count. Patrick then starts his count, but he goes super slow so that Bubba can have enough time to get back on his feet. And then the match goes to the outside. Again, there were motorcycles near the rampway. So Bubba hops on one of them and he runs into Morris in a spot that didn't look as impressive as I was hoping it would. But Morris sells it like he got knocked out cold. And then Nick Patrick does a fast 10 count and Bubba wins the match. The ending, though, was weak to me. It was a good idea on paper, I think, but execution, it was not there.
Yeah, I think they were hoping that would be more grandiose, but I don't know. It's kind of a hard bump to take.
So I gave that a 1.5 star.
And I gave it a 1.
So after that match, we interview some more of the NWO beauty pageant participants. They do not have prepared answers to these questions. These segments are completely bombing. So it truly has to be seen to be believed how bad this is.
This is not watchable to me.
We'll just move on to the third match. It is Jeff Jarrett with Deborah versus M. Wall Street. And with these participants, it's not surprised the crowd did not give a damn about this match. On commentary, Ted DiBiase talks about Syxx's upcoming match later tonight, and he praises him. I only bring this up because they were in a faction together in the WWF before they both came to WCW. They were both in the $1 Million Corporation, so I just thought that was kind of notable. But as this match goes on, we see Deborah talk to Mongo, because Mongo's here too. She appears to be telling Mongo to get involved into the match to help Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett doesn't appear to need the help as we see him get Wall Street in a figure 4, but Nick Patrick drags Wall Street to the ropes. Deborah doesn't like this cheating, so she continues to goad Mongo into getting involved into the match. Mongo isn't having any of it. Why would he help the man that his wife is fawning over? But eventually he changes his mind because he's tired of Deborah's mouth, and he hits Wall Street with the Halliburton briefcase to it.
Well, another reason is he's probably tired of Wall Street doing the same spot in every damn match where he grabs the ropes at an abdominal stretch every time. I'm serious, swear to God, watch every Wall Street match, at least during this time. He does that spot every match. So Mongo's like, I'm tired of seeing this spot, and wails him on the back as he's grabbing the rope during the abdominal stretch.
He said, I've had enough of this shit.
Of course. Yeah, I'm tired of it, man.
But yes, Mongo hits some nice pop. Mongo threatens Nick Patrick with the briefcase as well if he doesn't make the count. So Nick Patrick begrudgingly makes the count, and Jarrett wins the match. So Mongo, even though he wasn't in the match, he was by far the most over person in this match. Not even close. This match went 9 minutes and 22 seconds, way too long for a Wall Street match. He got in too much offense, especially for a character that's been nothing but a jobber since he got to WCW. So this doesn't help Jarrett any. Pretty boring match. 1 1/4 star is what I gave it.
A 1 might be too high, honestly. If you watch a Wall Street match that goes 9 minutes 22 seconds in 1997, you're not having a good time.
But we'll go to our fourth match. It is Scotty Riggs versus Buff Bagwell. And this is Buff Bagwell's first match after being christened Buff Bagwell. To start off, Bagwell poses for the crowd, and he has Nick Patrick help squeeze him out of his vest since his arms are just too big. I thought that was funny.
I'm loving Buff Bagwell at this time.
Riggs does not, though, Jacob, because he's had enough of Bagwell shit, and he hits some while Bagwell's continuing to pose. Riggs then mocks Bagwell's posing, which pisses Bagwell's off, so he slaps the shit out of Riggs in the face twice.
He also tosses Bagwell over the top ropes, which causes Bischoff to win a disqualification on commentary, which is funny because obviously the NWO guys have been tossing people over the top rope, and there's been no DQ.
Glad you mentioned Bischoff on commentary, because Bischoff takes another shot at the WWF, saying that those that can't cut it in the WCW go to Connecticut, and he compares it to sending horses to glue factories. And of course, WWF is based out of Stamford, Connecticut. But as the match continues, the crowd starts chanting, "Bagwell sucks." And Bagwell starts hamming it up to the camera, saying the crowd loves him. Riggs then pulls down Bagwell's pants, and we do get to see his rear end there. Riggs gets a 2 count on a pin attempt there. Bagwell is not pleased with Riggs after that, and Bagwell starts taking control of the match. Bagwell goes for a camel clutch, but Riggs stands up in it and hits an electric chair drop for a false finish. And Bischoff says Riggs is too confident, much like the Packers are. It mentions that because the Packers are coming up in the Super Bowl here against the Patriots. The Packers would destroy New England in that Super Bowl, so it looks like Bischoff was wrong there. But later in the match, Bagwell hits a nice running crossbody, and he pokes Riggs in the eyes and hits the blockbuster for the win. And 13 minutes and 51 seconds. This was not a bad match. I do think it ran a little long. I would have shaved off maybe about 4 minutes there.
Yeah, I disagree on your not a bad match. I gave it 1 star.
Well, I gave it 2. In my ratings, I do factor in character work.
Yeah, which I do too in some, but not this one.
Yeah, but afterwards, we do again get more Miss NWO stuff. And this is the one that they ask one of the women a question, and the woman can't hear it, and they ask her a couple times, she can't hear it, so they skip her. I tell you, you have to watch this to see how bad it is. But we go to the 5th match, and it is Diamond Dallas Page versus Scott Norton. When DDP comes out, he awakens this dead crowd. But to start off the match, Norton shoves Diamond Dallas Page. DDP just takes a huff of his cigar there. Doesn't seem to be too bothered by it. But as we go on, we see Sting is in the building tonight. So we see Sting in the crowd as Diamond Dallas Page signals for the Diamond Cutter, but we suddenly hear Buff Bagwell on the mic as he, Big Bubba, Vincent, and Wall Street come out, and they tell Page that they like his style and they want him in the NWO. Page grabs the mic and says he has always said you gotta go with the NWO. And so he grabs an NWO shirt. He puts it on as the crowd boos. DDP high-fives his opponent Scott Norton, shakes his hand, but I guess these NWO members didn't watch the tape of when he tricked Scott Hall.
They didn't learn their lesson.
Because DDP shows it was all a ruse, and he pulls in Norton for the Diamond Cutter that pops the crowd. DDP then goes into the crowd. He rips off the NWO shirt and celebrates with the fans. Bagwell gets into the ring and says Diamond Dallas Page doesn't know what he just did, and says Page won't be in the NWO as long as he is around. It's the old, you can't quit, you're fired kind of deal there. And then Nick Patrick announces the winner is Scott Norton by countout. 9 minutes and 39 seconds there, but I enjoyed the ending. I didn't really care for the match. I gave the total segment with Diamond Dallas Page, like the whole deal, a 2.5, but the match itself, like a 1 star and a quarter.
Half a star.
So next, we don't have a Miss NWO segment, thankfully. We just move on to our next match, and it is the Steiner Brothers versus the Outsiders for the WCW Tag Team Championships.
Steiner's out of the ring, and Scott Hall lays a decent clothesline on him. And of course, there is a belly to belly on Kevin Nash. Scott Steiner does to Kevin Nash. That looked really good. Kevin Nash sold it beautifully.
Well done. So these two teams go back and forth throughout the match. Near the end here, we see Scott Hall hit the Outsider's edge on Scott Steiner, but Nick Patrick was knocked out at this point, so he cannot make the count. Scott Hall gets up and he looks around while Rick Steiner sneaks up behind Hall, and he hits the top rope bulldog. Rick Steiner goes for the pin, but there's no referee. Nick Patrick is down. But when you know it, Randy Anderson is sitting in the crowd. So he runs into the ring and he counts the pin, and we have new tag team champions. Bischoff and Ted DiBiase lose their minds on commentary, and Bischoff says the result will not stand, and he says he will sit down with the executive committee and will have it overturned. We will see if he does. This was a damn good tag team match. Both teams got in some good offense, and this was by far the best match of the night so far. The finish was fun, really hot crowd. Both teams in this match have a claim to the title. They both technically would have won the match. We will see, though, if the belts go back to the Outsiders. But this is the first match on this card that I would actually rewatch.
Yeah, probably.
I gave it 3 stars.
I wasn't as kind. I gave it 2, but I liked it. 2's certainly not the worst thing in the world, and they gave it 2 1/4.
And this match took 14 minutes and 43 seconds. So yeah, decent stuff here. New tag team champions. We will see if it lasts, though. But we will go to our next match, and I'm just going to tell you, this is the best match of the night.
This is the only match that I would recommend someone see.
Yes, absolutely. But it is Eddie Guerrero versus Syxx in a U.S. title match. We mentioned the NWO voiceover guy. When Eddie comes out, he calls him a Mexican jumping bean, so that wouldn't fly today. But to start the match off, Syxx hits a spinning kick that knocked Guerrero down, and he is able to get the Bronco Buster on Eddie. And as far as I can recall, this is the first time I think he's done it, unless it was maybe on one of the Saturday shows.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Later on, Eddie reverses an Irish whip and hits a drop kick that sends Six to the outside. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention this is a ladder match, by the way. So Six grabs a ladder and brings it into the ring, and he hits Guerrero with it. They later fight for the ladder, but Guerrero hits Six in the face with it. And then later on, both men climb the ladder at the same time. They both climb to the top, but Six low blows Eddie, sending him off of the ladder. Six then goes to grab the title, but Guerrero is able to recover quickly, and he kicks the ladder, causing Six to fall off. Guerrero then hits a superplex on Six. Guerrero gets up and he sets the ladder up, and he goes for the title, but again, Six meets him up at the top, and the two men start trading blows, and both men fall off of the ladder once again. And then soon after that, we're back up to the top of the ladder, and both men grab the title and fight over it until Guerrero hits Six with the title, and the title slips off of the holder that they have it on, and Guerrero jumps down and grabs the title to win the match.
I would mention that one of the spots where they're fighting up the ladder, and then Six does the jumping heel kick from the top of the ladder. That was really, really nice. And then the suplex that Guerrero took to the outside during the match looked brutal.
Like I said, this is the best match of the night so far. They had some very good spots. It was quick paced. And Six so far, I believe this is his second match. Both are very good matches. I'm very impressed with him so far.
Yeah, Kevin Nash has in an interview said that of all the members of the NWO, he thought Six was probably the best in an in-ring standpoint. I probably would disagree. I'd probably go Scott Hall, but a Six certainly isn't bad.
Six went from a nothing 1-2-3 kid to this. I mean, much better improvement here. I almost gave it 4 stars. It was 3 3/4.
It's got 4 from me, and looks like Dave agrees with me. 4 stars.
Watch this and the last match, and you can probably skip just about everything else. But we'll see. We still have the main event. We'll see what happens there.
But we need the finale of Miss NWO.
Yes. Before we get there, we get to announce the Miss NWO contest winner. Bischoff picks a winner, and it's not even close to being.
Did you notice that they showed information for the contestants, but they showed the same information for 2 different contestants?
No, I didn't. Probably because I was rolling my eyes to the back of my head.
I know. I honestly, I had to like rewatch it. My God, what were they thinking?
They weren't. I don't get it. He picks a chick that's, okay, admittedly not good looking. Him and the woman then start like making out. It's gross.
It's disgusting.
I have no clue how this was supposed to make the NWO cool. I thought that was the whole
as he's
point.
Making out, her fireworks are going off.
This is a time where I regret when we agreed to have a no skip rule, because I certainly wanted to hit fast forward so bad.
They give her like a sash and a tiara, and then they have her sit on a throne, but the throne's a toilet. I'm like, it's just like they really are just taking the shit. Like, literally.
Like, what's the point of all this? I know we don't rate these sort of segments, but this is a negative star. It's absolute disaster.
When you show someone wrestling, this would be a segment where you're like embarrassed that you tried showing someone wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, you got them hooked with this Guerrero 6 match, and they do this, and it's like, you really watch this shit? You're like, yeah, unfortunately.
Not much longer this shit keeps going. We had to suffer through that. But now we are finally on to the main event. We'll see if that is any better. It is the Giant versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan for the WCW title. Hogan gets a big entrance here, complete with thunder sound effects. He also has Cowboys players Nate Newton, George Teague, and Ray Donaldson with him. But for once, Hogan doesn't start this match off with the old stalling routine. He actually does try to go after the Giant, but the Giant sends Hogan to the outside, and then Hogan goes to one of the bikes on the outside. He grabs some powder, and he throws it into the Giant's face, allowing Hogan to get some offense in. Hogan grabs some tape as well, and he strangles the Giant with it, and then he spits on him. Giant is able to get back on offense. He goes for a top rope elbow drop, which would have probably killed Hogan if he had landed it.
Yeah, that's a big spill for the Giant to take.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan gets out the way, and the Giant takes all of it. It looks, I was like, dang, that was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. But then Hogan has his Andre moment here. He scoop slams the Giant.
This is certified Scoopy, by the way.
Oh, it was that good, huh?
Yep. Yeah, anytime you scoop slam the Giant, I'm probably going to clip it, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth it. So yeah, he's a scoop slam, hits the leg drop, and he starts celebrating as the Giant pops right back up and choke slams Hogan, and he goes for the pin, but Nick Patrick is the referee. He counts to 2, and then as he's going to count to 3, he stops counting. This happens 3 more times until the Giant has had enough, and he choke slams Nick Patrick. The Giant also choke slams Buff Bagwell, Vincent, Wall Street, and Big Bubba. And while all this is happening, Bischoff hands Hogan a guitar, that's Jeff Jarrett's gimmick, and hits the Giant with it. The crowd doesn't like the way this match is going, and they start chanting for Sting. Hogan hits the Giant with a wooden chair and sprays NWO for life on his back. Hogan starts to celebrate for a while, and the match just kind of ends with no decision.
Yeah, this was like, what were y'all thinking?
It was a no contest for the main event of a pay-per-view. A bullshit ending that the crowd was not pleased with. A lame ending for a pay-per-view. This would have felt like it was designed to get Sting involved, but they didn't. So yeah, definitely a downer here. Not a big improvement from the Miss NWO segment, unfortunately. What was your rating for this match?
Half a star.
Half a star. I gave it 1 1/4.
They give it -1.5 stars.
Okay, well, I'm not in the business of giving negative stars.
I don't do negatives.
But it is bad. So overall for the pay-per-view, a lot of stuff they tried for the pay-per-view didn't work. They tried the stuff with the PA announcer. They did some odd camera angles. None of that worked.
Some of it was interesting. Some of the camera angles were interesting. They did some during the Steiners Outsiders match I thought were pretty nice.
I can respect that they were trying some new stuff, but it just did not work. I did enjoy Ted DiBiase on commentary. I thought he added to the story they were telling well.
Yeah, DiBiase was good.
But most of the matches were dreadful, and of course the Miss NWO stuff was all-time terrible and is an embarrassment to the sport of professional wrestling. Overall, 4.5 stars for this pay-per-view.
I get 3.5. This might be the worst pay-per-view we've seen so far.
Worse than Uncensored 96?
I'd have to think about it, but Sold Out is definitely up there.
I would say Uncensored just because the best match here is better than the best match on Uncensored.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably.
We're scraping the bottom of a barrel here. When you see something this bad, you truly are left wondering how the hell was WCW able to beat the WWF for so long? But they did. But that is that for Sold Out. Please tell us what you thought of this dreadful show. Has anyone who has ever watched it before actually gone back to watch it? I would say no, probably. Please stay tuned for us the next week when we discuss the last head-to-head of January. It'll be January 27th. And after that, Raw will go to 2 hours. So the show should flow a little bit better. But thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.